The presence of the F-22 Raptor and the F-35B fighters is expected to put maximum pressure on North Korea.
Meanwhile, South Korea and the United States will hold a joint Air Force drill next week involving almost 230 aircraft. The regular exercise is called Vigilant Ace, and it was planned before the North's latest missile launch. But coming so soon after, it'll likely involve a bigger show of force than ever before. Oh Jung-hee reports.
U.S. strategic assets are arriving in South Korea for an annual joint Air Force drill called Vigilant Ace next week. The airborne exercise is set to mobilize 12,000 U.S. personnel and almost 230 aircraft. 6 F-22 Raptor stealth fighter jets are to be deployed starting Saturday, and all 6 jets will fly over South Korea simultaneously for the first time in the history of the joint drill. F-22 jets are equipped with full stealth capabilities, meaning that they can infiltrate North Korean airspace undetected and destroy key nuclear and missile facilities. 12 F-35B jets will also be deployed. The presence of the F-22 Raptor and the F-35B fighters is expected to put maximum pressure on North Korea, as both aircraft can reach Pyongyang in only 10 minutes if they depart from Osan Air Base, located 64 kilometers south of Seoul, and in 20 minutes from Kunsan Air Base in Jeollabuk-do Province. In addition to these two, 6 F-35A stealth fighter jets also arrived in South Korea last week, and B-1B bombers are expected to take part in the drill as well. South Korea's defense ministry says the joint exercise will focus on striking facilities and moving targets in North Korea, as well as countering possible North Korean invasions by sea and air. This year's Vigilant Ace comes in less than a week after Pyongyang launched an ICBM, so it's expected to be carried out amid high tensions on the peninsula. Seoul also plans to coordinate with Washington to have U.S. strategic assets deployed on a rotational basis until the end of the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
Now, South Korea's defense ministry has concluded that the Hwasong-15 missile that North Korea launched on Wednesday is a new type of ICBM, considering its altitude as well as its appearance. The ministry also confirmed that the missile is capable of targeting most of the U.S. mainland, including the capital, Washington, D.C. Kim Hyun-bin reports.
South Korea's Defense Minister Song Yong-moo confirmed that the recent ballistic missile launched by North Korea was in fact a newly developed intercontinental ballistic missile. The confirmation came on Friday during the first parliamentary briefing since North Korea launched the ICBM on Wednesday. The missile reportedly traveled 950 kilometers and reached an altitude of nearly 4,500 kilometers before splashing into Japan's exclusive economic zone in the East Sea. The minister added that the Hwasong-15 has a range of over 13,000 kilometers, meaning it is capable of hitting the eastern United States, including Washington, D.C. The ministry said the North's test appeared successful, but more analysis is needed to see whether the missile successfully re-entered the atmosphere. Re-entry technology is considered the most difficult technology to attain when developing an ICBM, as a warhead needs to endure scorching heat when re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. The ministry said the missile is longer and wider in diameter than the Hwasong-14. Footage and photos of the missile released by North Korean state media on Thursday show the bigger missile with a round and blunt warhead tip. Many experts say the round warhead can mean the regime might be developing a multiple re-entry vehicle, with several warheads mounted on one missile, making it more difficult to intercept. Some experts believe that if North Korea fully develops its miniaturized warhead, the Hwasong-15 could carry up to 3 nuclear bombs.
Meanwhile, the international community is still considering what action to take against North Korea after its latest ICBM test. But while Washington has made clear that it's China who should do more, Beijing has shown little willingness to comply. Kwon Jang-ho has this report.
The U.S. issued a strong condemnation of North Korea's latest missile provocation on Wednesday at the Emergency UN Security Council meeting in New York. But it was China who they placed firm responsibility on to act.
President Trump called Chinese President Xi this morning and told him that we have come to the point that China must cut off the oil from North Korea. That would be a pivotal step in the world's effort to stop this international pariah.
So far, the reaction from Beijing has not been positive. No official response has been given to Washington's demands, and when the Foreign Ministry spokesperson was asked directly during a press briefing on Thursday, he avoided answering, simply saying that China is implementing current UN sanctions, which capped all exports to the regime by 30%. China's state-sanctioned newspaper, The Global Times, also issued an op-ed on Thursday entitled "Only the UN Security Council can decide new sanctions on Pyongyang." It says China and Russia will not impose any additional unilateral punishments on North Korea as the US is hoping. It carries on to say that it's now winter and an oil embargo would hurt the people's livelihoods and risk triggering a humanitarian crisis. It concludes China is not a chess piece for others to deploy. But the piece does also call for North Korea to stop provoking the US, and there are other minor movements coming from Beijing. China is threatening to end a near 20-year-old college student exchange program with Pyongyang. Speaking with Hong Kong's South Morning China Post, Li Gang, the official overseeing the program, said he was concerned by the regime's missile tests and that if there were any danger to their students, they would be ready to terminate the exchange. If it were to be cancelled, it would bring an end to one of the longest, uninterrupted programs between the two countries.